Our study this morning is going to be on the book of Revelation, chapter 14, from verse 6, probably up to verse 13. In these verses, we are going to see the three angel message. The three angel messages, whereby we are going to learn how the progression of the Reformed church during church in the time of during the history of the church, because that's what is all about these three angel messages. Last time, from verse 1 to verse 5, we learned of the 144,000. The 144,000. And this 144,000, I told you, it represented that church which was formed after the Dark Ages. That is the Protestant church, that virgin church, that virgin Protestant church, those who protested from Catholic Church, they formed the 144,000. And I told you that 144,000, it is not the number that there were 144,000. It is the character, the number of man, of that Christian man, that true born-again Christians. It is 12 times 12. That is 144. That 144 you can multiply with as much as you want to do. It is still going to remain to be the character of a true Christian man. So the reformers, or who formed the Protestant church, who reformed the church of Christ from the Catholic Church, they formed that church whereby when you read, you hear what John saw. And I looked, and lo, that's Revelation 14. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their forehead. Those are the one who formed that church, who called the Catholic Church Babylon. So that church, when you come to the book of Revelation, I want you to see it. First of all, John has shown us this church on Mount Zion, the Protestant church. Now, having shown us that church, he is now going to show us how this church came about and how it will go. Because remember, after Reformation, when the Protestant church came, we saw in chapter 13, John was shown a beast again rising with a two-horned beast rising out of the earth. So this two-horned beast rising out of the earth is the church which is going to be formed after the Dark Ages. After the Dark Ages, after the Catholic, after the Protestant church came in, they are going to grow again another dispensation whereby we are going to have two seats of power in Christianity. That is the Protestant and Catholic Church. But now, Catholic has been there since the beginning. But now we are going to see how after the reformer, after the church was reformed, how did it start and how did it go about until our time and beyond. That's what we are going to, starting from 14, going onward, we are going to see that church now, which is going to comprise the Protestant and the Catholic together. But for now, we want first to see how the Protestant church came about. And that is the three-angel message. Because this three-angel message is going to give us exactly how it was formed. So in verse 6, where we are going to start, it says, "And I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven." Now, this is now the narration of how the Protestant church will start. "And I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel, to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, and kindred, and tongue, and people." One thing you can hear, there is a quotation here which says, "And I saw another angel fly," another, which means this is another angel, which means there was the first. So you can see when we talk of an angel, before we go on, let us first understand an angel is meant in supreme sense. An angel is meant the Lord, because he was also an angel sent by God. An angel also means a man sent by God. Those inspired men, those men who are called by God and sent to preach the gospel, those are angels. The word angel means a messenger. Are you together? The word angel means a messenger. So it means the messenger here, in supreme sense, the messenger from God is our Lord Jesus Christ. He's a messenger. He was sent by his Father. He came from his Father. He was a messenger. He was an angel also. In fact, even there's a point where you hear God called him, "My angel will go before you." That is our Lord Jesus Christ. So an angel is a messenger. Any other person who has the gospel, who is sent by God, is also an angel, a messenger, and is an angel. He is determined as an angel. So when we say, "I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven," we should know this angel, first of all, is Christ. And Christ, Christ can fly in form of other messenger who are sent by who? By Christ himself. Because Christ, when we say Christ, you will never see Christ, but anybody who comes in the spirit of Christ, he is representing who? Christ. And he is sent by Christ. So when you say another angel, it means it is now Christ again has come. So here, which was the first angel? The first angel still was Christ. The first angel here was Christ and apostles. He came and preached the gospel with the apostles. They formed the apostolic church. So that was the first angel message. That was the first message of the gospel. The first message of the gospel was preached by who? By Christ and the apostles. I want you to get this, because if you don't get this, it is very hard to understand this three-angel message, because many have erred with this message, not understanding where they came about. Some have said this and that, but I want to put it in its clear essence, because if you don't do it, many will not understand why these three angel message were after these 144,000. John had been shown the church, but now he wants to show us how that church came about and even how it will disappear again. So all these things we are going to learn. Which means when he says another angel, it means the church after the apostle after the apostle, having gotten the first apostolic church, having gotten the true gospel from Christ and apostles, there came in dark ages. That is, Catholic, which came after the apostles, entered into darkness. The church entered into darkness. So having gone into darkness, there is going to be now another angel, the second angel, message. That's why he said, and I saw another angel, which means there was the first one. This is another.
Yani kana kwamba nataka kumaanisha kuna ujumbe ambao ulipeanwa mara ya kwanza.
Yes.
Ukaisha, watu wakaupata tena wakafanya nini? Ukapotea.
Yes.
Sasa tena kuna ujumbe mwingine tena unafanya nini?
Unakuja kama
hule.
That is it. Yeah. There was the first message which was there. Then the dark ages came in. There is now another message which is exactly like the first one. That's what he's saying. That's why he's being called another angel. Another. Not that another in the sense that those who are going to preach this one now are not the same one who preached the first one. Because remember, the first one was Christ and the apostles. So that's why it is another. And when you listen, it says, and I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven. I want you to get this point, because also it is very important. In the midst of heaven. When we say in the midst of heaven, here, I told you what I told you about heaven. Heaven means what? Because people will always think it is the heaven above. This is heaven means the church. The church. Because the church in this world, it is heaven on earth. That's the church of Christ. It is a door was opened in heaven. That means it is the church, because Christ is in the world at the same time in heaven. So where Christ is, that is heaven. So when he say the second angel, and I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, it means these people, this angel or this messenger are exactly in the church. We are going to see why. They are in the midst of heaven. That meaning that which was called the church, they were inside the church. So they have this message, but this message they are preaching when they are in the church. So who are they, or what does that mean? We are going to see. When we say fly, to fly is to survey, to investigate, and to provide. In this case, something new out of heaven from the Lord in the church, which means they were flying, meaning something flying like an eagle. When an eagle is flying, is looking for something, is investigating of something new in the church. He is trying to bring something new. He is flying, he is looking for something new. That is the message with this angel. He was looking for something new. That's why he was flying in the midst of heaven. Meaning, he was in the same Catholic church. There were people who were in that church, Catholic. There were members there. There were priests in that church. But being priests, they were flying. They were looking for truth. They were searching for truth. God had inspired them inside the church. They started seeking for truth. That's why they are called, they were flying in the midst of heaven, investigating the truth while they are in the church. When we talk about this, the three angel message, and we talk about this, the first message out of these three, the first one, who are these who are investigating the church while they were in the church. This, first of all, we should know, before even the Reformation came about, there were those people who we call the early reformers. Those who tried to reform the church even before Martin Luther and John Calvin, when Reformation came to pick up. Because in this message, you'll see those who preached this message within the church, they were not the same as those who preached the message outside the church. Because when the time came to reform the church, Martin Luther and John Calvin, they had to go out of the church to reform when they were inside. But there are those who try to reform when they were in the church. So who are they? The first one, or if we look at history or church history, I'm going to give some eyesight. Not that I'm going to go in detail to some of these early reformers, but for those who will investigate, they'll come and find it in history that it was so. Those who tried to reform the church, there was first, there was Peter Waldo, that was Waldensians. They were in northern Italy. They tried to reform the church very much, but most of them were persecuted by Catholic Church. There was also in northern England, we had whom we call John Wycliffe. John Wycliffe was, remember, all these people, they were professors, they were learned people. They were those people who were learned in theology and philosophy, and they came to see the truth. Somebody like John Wycliffe, who was born in 1320 and died in 1384. That one was one of the first reformers. He was born in northern England. He tried very much, and he tried to put new doctrines. He tried to fight the Catholic doctrines within the church, but he was overcame. After him, or more or less in the same period, we had somebody like John Huss. Many have heard about them. John Huss. He was born in 1369 and died in 1415. That was early reformers. These are the ones who tried to reform the church. And they are represented by this, the second angel message, the first angel message, whereby it is reformation within the church. That's why they are in the midst of heaven. They were trying to reform the church while they were in the church, which became extremely difficult. They could not do it. They tried. You see, there were some even who were executed. There were some who were executed, like who? Okay, John Huss was from Bohemia, which is today is Czech Republic. It is still in Europe even today. It is Czech Republic in Europe. He formed Hussite movement. That was Hussite movement was a Reformation movement. He formed it in Czech Republic, Paraguay. But still, he could not make it. He could not make it. We have also somebody like Erasmus, who was born in 1467 from Netherlands. He tried, but he could not make it. These are the ones who tried to reform the church when they were in the church. I hope you are getting it. They were in the church trying to reform the church. Was it possible? It was not possible. They could not do it. It was not possible. Then you come to Jerome. Jerome was also born in 1365, still from the Czech Republic. Jerome died in 1416, though he was burned at the stake. He was burned by Catholic Church. He was executed because of Reformation. Even, I think, even John Huss, both of them, they were executed. They were burnt alive because of that work of Reformation. So they were the first people who tried to reform the church during in the time of Dark Ages. Remember, this is why you see John is saying that when you go to our verse, I hope now you can get it, because it says, "And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth." These people, they had the gospel, they knew the gospel, they discovered the gospel of our Lord. These people, John Wycliffe, there are so many, Peter Waldo, Jerome, Erasmus, all these, they tried, but they failed. So they preached the gospel, but they preached it inside the church. That's why they were persecuted. In fact, there is even another one, I don't know whether it is Wycliffe. After he died, Catholic exhumed his bones and burned them. Meaning it was a bad omen to them, because he had come with a doctrine. So when he died, they exhumed the bones, then they burned that bone, his bones, to show that these people, they were dangerous to the church. To the church. So you can see how it was. So here, I want you to see that this was the first angel message, and it goes to say verse 7, saying with a loud voice, "Fear God and give glory unto him, for the hour of his judgment is come. And worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountain of waters." So they had come to realize that what was being taught during the Dark Ages by the church, it was not God. They never feared God. It was something very different. That's why they were saying, give glory to him. That means, to give glory unto God, it is to teach the truth, the divine truth, as it is in Jesus Christ. So they came. They found that there was no truth. That's why they were saying, give glory unto God. Teach the truth. Tell the people the truth. This is the truth. So they tried very much. Remember, these people, most of them, they were from, at that time, learned men from universities. Nobody here, all these people, they were not laymen. They were learned men who had come to realize that all what is being taught in the church was not the truth as it is in Jesus Christ. So here, John is trying to show us how this church that he was shown on Mount Zion of 144, that is a Protestant church, how it came about. There was the first message, as you have seen, which was preached by the early reformers, which never bear fruit. But it bear fruit, because even the latter reformers will come and build from that. Are we together? Yeah, even the latter reformers came to build on that. So here you can see that these people, these early reformers, they tried to teach to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. All this is about the truth. Saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. The hour of his judgment here means when people start thinking, judging things righteously. The hour of judgment, meaning these people, the time has come whereby now there are people who can judge things. God has started judging. God, how does God judge? God judge through the people. Because when you open your understanding, you start telling people the truth, that means God is doing what? He's judging. Because those people, they were in darkness, they could not even know the truth, but God has opened some people, those early reformers, so that through them
wafundishe ukweli, ukweli
wahukumu. Yeah, the hour of judgment has come, meaning the church had stayed for quite a long time in darkness during dark ages that people never knew themselves. But now God is telling them that the hour of judgment has come. I have raised some people to open your understanding so that you can see the darkness you are in. So these were the early reformer. And this is the first message, which now we call it the first message out of these three messages. When you go to verse 8, it says, and there followed another angel. You can see now. And therefore followed. These people, they were in the church. But what is going to happen? And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So you can see now, this now has come. They have the same, you can see the message which were with the early reformers, it is the same message. This one has come with it, but now they have added something. There is an addition of something, meaning these were in the church, but this one, they have separated themselves
from the church.
From the church. That's why they are pointing the church when they are outside. This is fallen. This is not the church. Meaning, if you say that this is not the church, meaning these people now, they have come to know that the one which was called the church, which was the Catholic Church, they stood ground that this is not the church. This is not the church.
Ndiapo mwalimu unaona sasa huyo malaika wa kwanza yeye alikuwa ndani ya kanisa akifundisha.
Yes.
Lakini sasa huyu wa pili yeye ameona ulegevu wa nini? Wa ile kanisa, analipoint ya kwamba ni Babeli.
You know why these people, some of Jerome and John Huss, why were they executed at the stake? It's because even when they were called to go by the leaders of the church, they obeyed the church. So not knowing, wherever they were going, they were called by the church, they were tricked and trapped and then killed. But when you come to the second angel message, another angel followed. This angel now became different. Because if you read the history of of Martin Luther, you'll find that the church at Rome wanted him to go and answer some question in Rome. But Martin Luther refused. He never went there. John Calvin, who formed the Institute of Christian Religion, went to Holland. He was from France. But he went and lived in France, fearing for his life. He never accepted again, they never accepted again to be under the umbrella of Catholic Church. They revolted. That's why you see, and they followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen. This they pointed finger. They called Catholic Babylon. Even when the Catholic wanted to exterminate them, they could not. All these things, we can see them in the church history. For those who want to study, they can study about how Martin Luther pinned. I don't remember how many theses. We can all read about them in 95 theses. Yeah, there were 95 theses whereby Martin Luther stood and accused the Catholic Church. He pinned the 99 thesis in the university to teach about Reformation. So he had taken another stand different from the stand of the early reformers. So that's why you see it is another angel following who called a spade, that you are fallen. So when he says you are fallen, the great city, it means that great city here means that church. The doctrine of that church, which by that time was Roman Catholic religion, that it is fallen, its doctrine is dispersed. It was no longer a church of Christ. That is the message of the second angel, of this second angel, of the three angel message. So when he says it is fallen, it means it was no longer a church of Christ. So those who stood that ground, one of them is Martin Luther, who was born in 1483 and died in 1546, and John Calvin, who was born in 1509 and died in 1564. These are the main ones. There are many who worked together with Calvin, who worked together with Martin Luther. But here, I just want to show you the second history of the scripture. When it says something, what is it referring unto? For those who want to study more, they can go and see what I'm saying is true. I just want to put it in a way that people can know the script, the book of Revelation, or what it talks about. I'm just giving a guideline. But those who want to study deeper the truth, they can see how this Reformation came about. So the first angel message, early reformers. The second, it is when the reformers stood ground and called a spade and said, Catholic is Babylon. They said it. They said it, and it stood. And that's how Reformation and a reformed church came about. Calvin is the one who formed the Institute of Christian, Protestant religion. So, and in fact, you can see, even John Calvin, the doctrine of Protestants, of Protestantism, justification by faith, it came with John Calvin. He put it in the right perspective. It has stood the test of time because all the Puritan theology is based on Calvinism. Calvinism theology. So, Calvin played a very big role in Reformation. His doctrine stood even during the time of the Puritans until even now, because they have a better ground. They are grounded on a deeper truth, and truly their true doctrine of salvation. Sasawa. As we have said, these people, John Calvin, or the second reformers, those who called the church Babylon, their message was just a matter of separation. That's why you can see their message is to say, this is not the church. The church. We must have another church. That was their message. So they expounded the truth of the first angel reformer, the early reformers. They built on that truth. But now, the gospel, people had started knowing the gospel throughout Europe. But now these people their ground was, this is not a church anymore. This is Babylon. And it is fallen. They called it, it's not a church. So people were after separation. So they wanted to separate. They separated themselves. The other early reformers, they tried to reform that church. But that church is, instead of reforming, it started persecuting reformers. So the second angel message came and said, now we are not more going to be together in this church. This church is Babylon. Let us have another church. That's how the Protestant church was formed. Those people who separated the Church of Christ from Catholic Church the second angel message, and that is Martin Luther, John Calvin, and many more. For those who are going to study the history of the church, they will see them who separated and formed the Protestant church. And that's how the Protestant church came in, because I remember when you read the history, you hear when there were case between Catholic before King Charles in Germany, because they wanted Martin Luther to go and answer some questions. The things was asked, if we feel that we don't want to be among you, among that church of yours, that's Catholic, is there any problem? Then it was said, if we feel that we want to worship the way we want to worship, leave us alone. Then that was how it was separated. Protestant came in, those who want to worship like Catholic, they stayed on the side of Catholic. Those who wanted to stand with Martin Luther and John Calvin, they came and stood with them, and the Protestant church was formed. And from there, Reformation took center stage, and the church of Protestantism was formed. So that was the second angel message. Let us see the third angel message. That is verse 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his heart, 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angel and the presence of the Lamb. Now here, I want you to listen carefully here, because it is very important. You can see the third angel message. The second one separated the church of Catholic and the Protestant church. We are now, at that time, there were two churches. Here, there was Catholic. Remember, all these things is not happening within a very short time. You can remember the early reformers was around 1400. Sasawa. The second angel message, that is Martin Luther, is going to start from 1500 going onward up to 1600. Up to 1600. You can see there is almost how many years? 100 years. It's not when we talk about that, when you talk about this angel message, you might think there are things happening within a very short time. No. You can see the first angel message, it was the early reformers. By 1400, they started reforming. When these people came to call Catholic Church Babylon, it was between 1500 and 1600. Now, the Protestant church is formed. There is Catholic in Europe and Protestant church in Europe. So, there's going to be a problem again. And that's how now we are going to see how John was shown the two-horned beast being formed. Because the third angel message is coming because of this fear. This fear of two-horned beast. We are going to see why. Because these are the ones who are going to see. Starting from 1600 going up to 1700, here we are going to have the third angel message. The Protestant has formed, but there is going to have another angel here who is now going again to be a reformer, and to be a type of other reformers. Reformers again, who have come now again to reform the Protestants. Sio kama tunapatana pale. Yeah. This one, the third angel message, are those who came after the protest. Remember now, from 1500 up to 1600, when we say by the time John Calvin is going to die, it's around 1560 there. So we can say now from 1550 up to 1600, there was around 50 years or so, more than 50 years since the Protestant church was formed. But this Protestant church, when it was formed, something went wrong. Something went wrong. Those who formed the Protestant church, again, they were overtaken by ignorance. They almost started forming an image of the beast. That's why you see, when you go down a bit, you'll hear, he says, they formed an image of the beast, meaning it is a Protestant church, but instead of starting with the truth, which was taught by these reformers, they came with another truth. They started relaxing. They started adding things from Catholic again. They were overtaken again by false doctrine. I told you, when Catholics knew now that the Protestant church has been formed, they formed another wing, the Jesuit, to go and make sure it spoils the Protestant church. So what's going to happen?
They started imitating.
Yeah, they started imitating the beast. That is the Catholic again. You know, man, when he loses the truth, when he loses the truth, he forgets everything again and goes back into darkness. Truth is the light. So the third angel message here, these are the one who came with another message. And they are the Puritans. These are the ones who are called the Puritans. The Puritans are again those who, when they were from Protestant church, but they saw the church is going again to be taken. That's why they are saying, if you listen to their message, the third angel message, they are saying, and the third angel followed them. You see, it is for following. So, which means it is another bunch of messenger. You can see these are the messengers. There are three. The first has formed the Protestant. The first one forming when they were in the church. So there is a third one now again who followed. Now they have another message, different. Which message? Sikia. He says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image. Because now they have seen that now this Protestant church, now we are talking the Church of England, the Church of Scotland, all these churches, they were the Reformed churches in Europe. But now the Reformers, they saw something very different. That's why they are saying, if anyone worship the beast, because they can see here, the beast is which church? Catholic. I want you to see, because now how this two-horned beast is going to be formed, but the Puritans have started seeing another beast coming in. That's why they are saying, if anybody worship the beast, that is, or the way the Catholic worship, because that worship came to be worshipped in the church. For example, the prayer books, which are used in Catholic, the Protestant church wanted also to use prayer books. There are many things that they brought in, which were there in the Catholic Church. So the Puritans said, if anyone worship the beast, that means if you worship the way the Catholic Church worship, and his image, meaning meaning now you who are the Protestant, you are the image of Catholic. Because now there are two. Because there is the beast, which is Catholic, and there is its image. Because you who have comprised the Protestant church, you are nothing now, because the only thing that you have is just a name.
But you are the image.
But you are the image of that beast. That's what they are the Puritans came. They started preaching against the same Protestant, and that's why you see the Puritans also. The Protestant church started again persecuting the Puritans. That's when you go to the church history, you will hear why there were those people who are called non-conformists. Non-conformists, those who could not conform with the Church of England, those who could not conform with the Church of Scotland, because there were things that they were doing which were in line with the beast. And though they were the Church of England, they had formed the image of that beast. So the Puritan came again to reform again the church. That's why you see it is at the third age of mercy. They came to reform the same church which had reformed from Catholic. And that's why there were persecution. There were persecution. The persecution started. So they say the Puritans started teaching the Puritan theology, because they came to understand that even the Protestants themselves, they have fallen again. Because they are saying, and the third age of man followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his heart. We said a mark in his forehead. Are you together? Mm-hmm. What is a mark in his forehead? First of all, to worship the beast means to acknowledge that faith. To worship his image means to acknowledge and receive that doctrine. The same doctrine which was taught by the beast. That is the image, to worship the image. Because you are worshiping, only that you are calling yourself Protestant, but you are worshiping the same doctrine which was worshipped by the beast. So you have failed, because thinking that you are Protestant, you are of the same category with the who? With the beast. To receive his mark on the forehead, on the heart, means to receive it in love and faith. Are you together? Mm. And to confirm it, to receive the mark, meaning you receive that thing in faith. In faith, you have that mark in your forehead. That means there were those people who formed the Protestant church. They were not different from the beast. They were not different from what was being taught by Catholic Church during the Dark Age. And they have received something exactly the same, and it is even written in their forehead, meaning it is their way of living. You cannot change them, and you cannot even help them. They have received that mark. And that's why you'll see these people received this mark, even to the point that when the Puritan came in with another doctrine, they started even persecuting the Puritans. The same church, the Church of England, they ganged together to fight the Puritans. If you read the church history, you see, even there was a time, those who refused to conform to the Church of England, they were set out of England. to stay, do you how many miles outside the England town, England city? Because they could not conform. Why? The queen, the king, joined together with the church. Even when church was in error, the queen came in the center stage to be the leader of that church. Knowing or unknowing that she could not lead, she could not know the whole truth. The kings and the queen were being misled by the leaders of the Church of England and the Church of Scotland. So when the Puritan came, those who were in office, they started persecuting those who are in truth. So, meaning, these who are the Protestant are the one who is being told here that they receive a mark in their forehead. Meaning, they had started another doctrine of the beast, even to the point that they worshipped the same beast. So when you say in his forehead or in his hand, even in their practice with their hand, practically they were like beasts. There was no different. So what happened? So when you read the Puritan theology, you can find that verse 10, it says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured without mixture into the cup of his indignation. That means you who have lost the way of salvation and you have started worshipping the beast, don't think you are better than those people who are worshipping the beast directly. The same wrath which is going to be upon these people is also going to be upon you before God. It's as if they are telling them that you are not going to be different. The fact that you call yourself Protestant churches, that's what the Puritan was saying. It doesn't make sense. Because you are still the children of wrath. If what we call the beast, that is a Catholic, if we say it's not a church, and they are under the wrath of God, even you, being Protestant as you think you are also under the wrath. You shall receive the wrath of God without mixture, meaning you have nothing. There is no FIFA with you. There is no difference. Don't think that there is any difference between you and that one which you are saying that they are fallen. That they are beast.
Kana kwamba nyinyi msijigambe ya kwamba kwa sababu nyinyi mmejitenga na Catholic ile ghadhabu Catholic inapata eti nyinyi mtapunguziwa.
Hapana, that is
ghadhabu ni ile. Hivyo ndivyo wanamaanisha. Yeah. So the Puritan came to teach the true doctrine again. They taught better understanding that you can be a Catholic, you can be a Protestant, and yet at the same time be the same as the Catholic. Having no difference. The only difference you have is just the name. That's what the Puritan came to teach. That's what here we are being told. And that exactly, when you read the Puritan theology, you'll see that this one, they had more insight about, more truth in them than the first and the second age of message. Because this one, they came and said, yes, we have protested, yes, but still, we have not gotten it. So the Reformed Church, you'll find that even to today, those who call themselves the Reformed Church, it is just, yes, they are Reformed because they came on the way of Protestant, but they have lost it again. They worship the beast and its image. That's what is happening. And that's what came to pass out. And that's how the two-horned beast was formed. The Puritans saw it. That's why they were telling them, you worship the beast and his image. So the image here, katika the beast is one horn, and the image here is another horn.
Because this image, it is the Protestant. That's how the two-horned beast was formed. So the Puritans saw it, and from that moment, the two-horned beast came to be. And that is the one which John was shown. After the first beast, there came the second beast. It is only because the Protestant failed to stand the ground with the doctrine of the apostolic church. They were misdirected by the Jesuit, and they formed the two-horned beast. So when he says, and he shall be tormented with the fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, meaning you are no different. You are calling yourself Protestant church. You are going to go to hell, just like you'll be tormented. Don't just think that you are anything. The only thing that can save you is to understand the divine truth, to understand our Lord, and to give glory unto God. That is, know the truth. The name Protestant won't save you. That was the message. 11 says, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. So here, who worship the beast who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. It is the same thing. Here is being shown that the smoke of their torment, because those who formed the church, the Reformed church, the Protestant church, they will be tormented. They have no, they will not go to heaven. The name Protestant won't help them. The name Reformed churches won't help them. They will be tormented as much as they worship the beast and his image. And whoever received the mark of his name. So the mark of his name, it is his doctrine. So even today, as we are talking, you'll see there are some people who are in Reformed churches, Protestant. They think they are better than Catholic, but they are not. That's what John is saying here. If Catholic was the beast, you have formed the image. Then you have formed the two-horned beast, and there is no different. Whatever will happen to that church whom you call Babylon, it's also going to happen unto you. That was the message which was taught in the Puritan theology. For those who have time to read Puritan theology, they'll see how Puritans taught this doctrine. The exposition of the scripture in their deep sense, so that people may see the truth as it is. So this was the third angel message. So verse 12, he says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandment of God and the faith of Jesus. So here are the patience of the saint. Because the third angel message was proved, the Puritan came in. I want you to see this point clearly so that you may understand what here John is saying. He is saying, now you can see how this church was formed. You can see the Reformation, how it came about, the three angel message, how this church, he was shown on Mount Zion, how of the 144, how again, you remember when he was shown, the reformers, when they were reforming the church, they were virgins, 144,000. There were people who wanted to reform the church of Christ. But now, that church has gone to a point that it was fighting the beast, but instead of overcoming the beast, it deformed the image of the
The beast.
The image of the beast. Which means that which was beast remained. And then there came an image. And as far as God is concerned, both of them will receive the same wrath. But, be it as it may, inside this church, this two-horned beast, because after the Puritans are going to die, the two-horned beast remained. Even to today, it is the one which we call the church today, Catholic and Protestant. All those churches that you see, the ministries, they have all come out of these two churches. That is the beast and the image of the beast. Catholic and Protestant. But now, John is saying, as far as these people have gone that way, those who reformed, inside them, there were the 144. That means there were those virgins. There are those who stood the test of time, like the Puritans and many more, like John Calvin, Martin Luther, and many more who stood the ground and they told the truth as it is in Jesus Christ. So these are the one whom here, when you come to verse 12, he says, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. 13. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them. Here now, John is, who are these whom he are called blessed?
The Puritans.
Yeah, all those who has worked tirelessly.
Wale ambao walifanya kazi kusimamisha ukweli wa Mungu vile ulikuwa unastahili, ambao washakufa.
Yes.
Ndio anawaambia.
Walale sana, wapumzike. So those who stood, because those who called a spade, those who stood with God in the time of Reformation, those who died because of Reformation, those who told the truth as it is in Jesus Christ, these are the one whom John here is saying, because even after the Reformation came, and even when those who took over failed to keep up that fire of Reformation, God is saying, for those who stood with Christ, they rest in peace. Their work will follow them. When? After this world. Because many today, they cannot even understand how the Reformation went about. Even those who are in Protestant, nobody even want to know. He just want to hear he is in a Protestant church or a Reformed church. But he even doesn't understand how did this came about. What were the reformers fighting for? If people today would have asked themselves, what were reformers fighting for? If he had asked that, if people would have asked that in themselves, they would have known where they are. But no one in this Christian generation of today, no one wants to know whether he is in Reformed church, in Catholic, in ministries, in Protestant churches. Nobody wants to know why there was Reformation or what were reformers fighting for. Very few. Very few. And those few are the one here whom John is saying, here is the patience of the saint. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus Christ. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their work do follow them. You see, so that's how those who did Reformation are going to rest. That means at any one time, people in this world, there are those people who have been doing the work of God. And many of them die without even being recognized in this world. Because they die poor. They are not men of renown in this world. But you can see, but God himself, being God, he knows them. He says, okay, though you have not been recognized, but you have done your work. Rest in peace, but your work will follow you. That means your work was not to be seen in this world, but in heaven it is recognized. Though people in this world may not recognize because they look after material things, but you rest in peace until the time of the end. That's what he's saying. So by their works which follow with them are signified all things which remain with man after death. Which side were you? What have you made yourself to be through what you have learned in this world? That is what will remain. If you have been working for this flesh only, if you are after the worldly things only, that's what will remain for you. So the work which you follow, it is what you have been, or the work which has been on your side. So don't think you have planted banana and you want to harvest mango. It will not happen. If it is mango, it is mango. If it will be banana, it will be banana. Because the harvest, this is a time of planting. The harvest is coming. And the harvest is what you have planted in this your lifetime. So hakuna jengine, watu wasifikiria ati kuna mambo mengine takuja kutokezea ambaye itakuwa sio vile neno la Mungu linasema. Kuna watu wanafikirianga there will be favor. Ati wewe unajua Mungu basi atatusamea kwa kupenda kwake. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. After the life of this body, things are over. Kuna kitu kusema ati najua Mungu, hapana. Wewe bona saa hii uangalie nini unafanya. So next time, God willing, we are going to see, now we have seen that the church of Reformation has come. We have seen how it was formed by the early reformer, the second reformer, and the third reformers. The first angel message, the second, and the third. Then after the third, that is the Puritan, the church went again into darkness. And it formed the second beast. Up to today, the church is surviving under the two-horned beast. That is the beast. The one horn is the beast, and the second is the image of the beast. And as I've told you, the image of the beast here is the Protestant church, and the beast is Catholic church. All other churches which are formed, the ministries, they belong to these two-horned beast. So starting from there, we are going now, John is going to show us how this two-horned beast is going to be until the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. Because there is no any one time now that this beast has separated. The world is formed under these two-horned beast until the fourth angel message, which says, after these things, that is, after these things now again, there is going to be another starting. Just the same way you have seen, there came a darkness, then Reformation coming, the second, another angel coming, then that angel now will go on and combined with the second, the third, they have formed the second beast, which is the two-horned beast. Then that two-horned beast will go on, has been going on until the fourth age of message. Are you getting me? Mm-hmm. Because the fourth now, the age of message is going to be after this. And that's why you see, if you read, you'll hear pare, inasema, these three angels, they followed one another. But the fourth one, it talks of after these things. Meaning, there is what?
A duration.
A duration. So the fourth age of message is going to come after this thing. That means, after this thing, that means, after these two-horned beasts have survived in this world, then we shall see the fourth age of message, which now is another message. And that's why you see, it is another angel coming from heaven again. With where? With what? With the glory of heaven. That means with all truth again. That means now, John is telling us, after these things, another angel is going to come. That's what we shall see in the fourth age of message. That is chapter 18. But before that, we want to see how this church is formed. In chapter 14, we are going to see how it's going to go to Africa, Asia. Then after that, chapter 15, 16, we are going to see the plagues which are brought as a result of this church. We are all going to see that. Then, until we come to chapter 18, whereby we shall learn about the fourth angel message. So, which means there are many things which are going to go alongside with these two-horned beasts until the end of this two-horned beast. Because this two-horned beast is going to have an end. That's what people don't know. We are going to have another church. Just the same way the first beast came to an end, the second beast, which is two-horned beast, also is going to come to an end. And then we are going to have another church. In this world, another church, watu wataiona hapa, ambaye itakuwa na mwangaza. Hii kanisa ambayo tunasema ni kanisa will be normal. Watu watakuwa wanasema kulikuwa, na watakuja kuona hivyo ndio itakuja kuwa. People will say there was a church. Ilikuwa hivi. Having a new church with another, with the light from heaven, teaching the deeper thing of God again than what we are hearing today. Sasa